Welcome back to Reality Check. If you are new here, consider subscribing to our channel. If you have always been a member of Reality Check, welcome back. I am Reachel Mwine, your host, and today we are going to be talking about mental health with a focus on mental health in the workplace. And of course, as usual, joining me is Dr. Evas Mwine. She's a mental health expert and advocate, and also founder of International Center for Mental Health and Family Care. We thought it prudent to have our human resource personnel, we'll refer to him as the head of people and culture at Stanbic Bank. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Rachel.
And thank you for being with us and for joining us for this conversation. So a few weeks back, or was it last week, the world turned the spotlight on mental health. The theme was mental health is a universal right. And so, like I said, we wanted to have a conversation on mental health in the workplace. We are seeing more and more workplace mental health challenges. And so, as a starting point, I wanted us to maybe start by talking about what some of the triggers for poor mental health are in the workplace. David, do you want to go first?
Thank you, Rachel, and it's a pleasure to be on Reality Check. And the subject that we're talking about, I think, is a very present and important subject. And yesterday, I was with the people at MOOBS celebrating disability at the Disability Resource Center. Yeah. And one of the things they talk about is invisible disability. Right? So, and I think mental health is one of those, or mental ill health. It's not visible. Yeah. It's not clear that I'm not well. Yeah. I may need support. And so from that perspective, it's something that we all need to double click on. Yeah. We all need to say we don't know enough. We all need to say we are united in this cause and can find ways. Yeah. So what are some of the triggers of mental health in a workplace? I think the work environment, first and foremost, is structured. It is organized. It is designed. So if you're coming in, first and foremost, who are you? Who are you bringing? What are you bringing to an organized environment? So imagine I was playing soccer in a village. Then I join an organized league. Right? Yeah. All of a sudden, there's timekeeping. Yes. I can't put my socks down. Yes. I can't, maybe in our village we abuse the referee. Here I can't. You can't. You know, so it's that transition from individuality into an organization that has goals, dreams, customers, and other colleagues that are trying to do that. Yeah. So most of us are trained to a level to fit in. So our education systems, I think, take us to a level to fit in. Yeah. But the workplace has also evolved. Yes. Customers know their rights. Yeah. Right. When I started banking, you respected tellers. The teller could send you away for not putting the notes in the right order. Right. This is around 90. Some people are not born. You'll be shocked. Yes. Today, you talk to a customer even rudely, they pull out their phone. They are recording you. They have been to banks in the UK. They have been to banks in Australia. Yeah. So they know you're there to serve them. Yeah. Right? They don't care that you had a bad day last night. Nope. I mean a bad evening. They don't care that. So customers have rights. Yeah. They have options. So the organization is also stricter on staff. It has raised its standard. So all of a sudden the workplace is more difficult. Second piece, I think people have also evolved. We also want meaningful work. We want to be purposeful. And we can't separate our purpose from our workplace. So I can't come to work and just be transactional and then go find purpose elsewhere. No. So all those conflicts in so many various ways start to create these triggers for what you call mental health. Yeah. Now, part of this is performance anxiety, right? And again, because it's invisible, I don't know when I've passed the threshold. I think they say we're all mad. It's just the extent of, of you know, and excuse me for using that word. Yeah. It's the extent. Yeah. So how do you know that I think the trigger has passed beyond where
Now
I can
need help.
manage.
Yes.
Right. So I, as a member of the leadership team at Stanbic, you know, whereas we try to create a safe workplace, we have leadership meetings where I need to make presentations. We have group visitors. We have, so some of these things can be really anxiety causing. Am I going to do a good job? Are they going to approve the budget? Will they give me this? So as I go into these, I heighten my stress. And if I live at that level of stress for an extended period, I may not see it, but I think for me those start to cause things. And I hope that sort of sets context for us to start this conversation and say, maybe we can pick on certain specific things or moments that say, here is a trigger.
Yes, Evas.
Yeah, sure. I like some of the aspects David is highlighting, and probably I'll add something. He talks about how the workplace has evolved. And so one of the areas, from my experience as a therapist and working with ICFC to support the workplace, some of the things we are seeing triggers is managers also not connecting with how their teams are feeling.
Absolutely.
You know, so yes, we have evolved, but we still have a little bit of a hangover from the past, how things have always happened. So the evolving process is goes a little, is going a bit slow. And yet people are dealing with so much. What you have just mentioned. So many things have changed. All this has happened. People are struggling with their personal lives, and then the manager still is still focusing on, can we have the targets? It doesn't matter how you're feeling. So just, can we meet the targets? So I think that's also a very, very big issue when we look at the workplace. What's happening? This person, can I view this person beyond a human resource?
That I can exhaust.
You know?
But what is happening in this person's life? So that space for people being viewed beyond, being viewed as human beings, not human resource. I think it's a bit of a transition that has to happen. Otherwise, with all the changes happening, then that's an issue. The second thing is definitely, and I'm sure David knows this better than me, we get into a lot of, we encounter people who come in and they are presenting with challenges related with structure. Now, sometimes we have structure, but then the roles are confusing, and then there's so much happening. Today you're this, another day you're this, and so many things happening. And I think there isn't, probably we need to up the preparation, the mental preparation for people to be able to be adaptable and to change and be able to move at the same pace the world is moving. And then, of course, people's personal lives. We were just talking earlier that most of the challenges people are presenting with, we provide workplace wellness program, counseling, and all that. And people present with more with their personal issues.
That's true.
Than the workplace-related aspects. So you find that the stress in the workplace is not necessarily generated within the workplace, but actually we take it there. That's why we say peace at home, peace at work, peace of mind. You see?
Makes sense.
So the things we take, the stress we get from our personal lives, our marriages, our personal relationships, our children, parenting, and all these struggles, and then we go to the workplace. You get there and you're exhausted, and if those are not addressed, then other workplace related, so people are yelling and all that, and we have no idea what is going on. So it ties in again with the aspect of viewing people as human beings,
human
not
beings, yeah.
human resource.
And to your point, I was having a conversation with my husband yesterday, and he was telling me about a human resource personnel who really does more of that. He views people as, so for him it's about the bottom line at the end of the day. So even though you called him and said, you know, my mom is sick in the hospital, he's like, yeah, but you have a contract, you know, therefore there are targets and, you know, there's things that you need to do. And for sure, that's bound to cause, you know, mental health challenges. We hear a lot these days phrases like toxic work environment. We hear about toxic people, toxic husbands, toxic wives, but we also hear about toxic work environment. What is a toxic work environment? And I mean, how can somebody tell that the environment they're in is, you know, is becoming toxic or hostile towards their mental health?
I think, just to touch on what Dr. Evas said, there's a doctor called Linda Gratton who talks about the work-home cycle.
Got it.
Right. So when it says when it's a caustic cycle, you go home, you're feeling, let's say, guilty as a mother. I worked, I was not with my kids. Maybe they are young, so I feel guilty. I've not made food for my husband. I am overwhelmed, right? And I'm insecure. Now, I come with that to a workplace where my boss is not happy with me, so I'm angry. I feel underappreciated, and I'm frustrated, right? So that's the negative side. And toxic workplaces become like that. So if, first and foremost, as an individual, because the individual is the feeling, it's almost like the aggregating point of all these things. So how does a workplace become toxic? With the context we've talked about. So I have a job. Tomorrow they say, oh, we're thinking about restructuring. Or we're thinking about moving this direction. We don't communicate right. Right. We don't give the why. We don't give the, you know, the what, the how, maybe the how. We say, look, you'll get a package or you'll go into that job. Don't ask questions. Us at the top know better. We have your best interest at heart. In an environment where people are more questioning, are hearing more things, are, you know, so change is the first piece around that and how we communicate. Then if we go into the day-to-day and, you know, as I said, my title is people and culture. How do we see human beings? Do we see people? Or do we see resources? I have 2 people. My productivity measure is X, and is it being met? And I then focus on that. So the people I've talked to said, it was toxic. I feel like there's intrigue. I feel like I'm not seen. I feel like I'm not heard. I feel I'm not appreciated. And yet I work really, really hard, right? So that's the one piece where it is, first of all, the manager's language is poor. I don't feel like I belong. So we are looking for belonging. Am I really a part of this team? If I feel like
the skill.
If I feel like there's a stronger relationship there that might not be as strong here, already my mind starts playing tricks on me. And if that persists and the self-fulfilling prophecy, it becomes more toxic. It goes into my performance. It goes into my relationships. So and it becomes, then I start doubting myself. I start wondering if I'm the right person for this job. I start wondering, can I get better? And if that then takes into the home cycle, so because I have 8 hours here, unless I have 8 hours at home. If that cycle is just, just caustic, then the toxicity increases. We were speaking about leaving jobs. Sometimes it's time to leave. Right? You've outgrown a role. But there you are, you still don't have the courage to jump. You have real economic things to think about. We are in a very tough time. When you try to tell the people at home, they judge you. So when you come to that workplace, the smallest thing will irritate you. And so it starts to become toxic. So some of it, I think, is people. I come with it. I'm not able to speak up when I'm
Struggling.
I feel something.
Yeah.
No, even not even struggling.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a boundary, but I can't say it. I can't say it.
Yeah.
So people are breaking my boundaries.
That's true.
Ouch. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't speak up. I don't feel it is safe enough for me
Yeah.
to speak up.
Yeah.
And that safety, I think, is almost the threshold of toxicity.
That's right.
Is it safe enough for me to express my idea, to express my fears, to innovate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To disagree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the baseline of toxicity.
That's right.
Once that safety goes away, intrigue starts to come in.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right? So you must work on keeping that safety line, and too many of us don't. So how we communicate, the signals we give, the boss is always right. You know, someone speaks up, you hear they have been transferred. You know, so that
Yeah.
continued manifestation that kills the safety line,
Yeah.
I think for me creates the toxic workplace. Now, that safety is also can't be just the organization, it's the people as well.
For sure.
If you're not helping people become better individuals, to have confidence, to believe in a greater cause, which is purpose, that it's okay to take a personal risk because I care about this,
Yeah.
right? I will stand up for the customer, even if I lose my job,
That's right.
Wow.
right? So I am led by a bigger cause than just these transactions.
Yeah.
We have to get this target.
Yeah.
Because if that's where I am, then the work is meaningless.
Yeah.
I can't take good decisions. You don't care about my values. I don't even know them, right?
There's that.
I don't even know my gifts.
Yes.
I'm not, my self-awareness is so low.
So low.
So if you're not working on the individual, so the people, are they resilient? Are they getting better?
Yeah.
And then the culture,
That's right.
Culture.
which is the safety line,
Yeah.
right? So then the two things create toxicity.
Yeah.
And, you know, not to create a poison, don't mean that both things are bad, right? For example, if I'm taking an antibiotic and alcohol, I have created the highest level of poison,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
right? Yet, separately, they're
Yeah.
probably okay,
Okay. Yeah.
right? If I'm taking two drugs that are contrary to each other, I create toxicity. It's the
Yep.
same thing. So
Yeah.
what are the combinations you're creating on the culture
Yeah.
and the sort of people that, first of all, as individuals, and then you spoke about an important thing, the leaders,
Yeah.
the managers.
Yeah.
And if they're not committed to that, and why I say committed is it's not easy when you have a shareholder asking this,
Yes.
and I have to pause and say, Rachel, I heard about your dad,
Yes. How's he doing?
right?
Yeah.
I have to consciously pause and say, I actually care about you as a human being,
That's right.
right? And sometimes like, but you know what? I care about your dad, but
But
have you seen the monster behind me?
I know. That's,
my neck is on the chopping board.
That's the thing.
You know?
So,
the thing.
so the leaders, actually the work on the leaders
Yeah.
has to even be more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of the goals and the targets,
That's
you know,
right.
now you're carrying, you know, empathy, and because you're working with human beings, not robots.
That's right.
You know.
No, I like what you mentioned, and you have touched on all those important areas. I just wanted to emphasize what you ended with. You know, whenever I'm doing training for workplace teams, I ask them who creates the work environment. Because you see, we all want a good work environment, but who determines
it? Yeah.
What do you bring to the work environment?
Correct. Yeah.
You see? So you can't go there just to get. And we have to know, speaking as a psychologist, we have to know that human nature is very selfish and self-centered, and,
Yeah.
and we want things done for us, and we want good, but the process of creating good can really be, you know, so that's how we quickly swing into, no, I need a work. But this work environment is you, is Rachel, David, me, another person.
Yeah.
And so we need to help people understand that the energy you bring to the workplace is probably the energy you're going to get out, because what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
You see? And it is okay to want a good environment. Now, I check in, I do a lot of personal coaching and team coaching. But for instance, David, you'll agree with me that especially here, in our country here, communication is an issue. People don't know how to speak up. I get so many people who come to my counseling room and they are contemplating resigning. And their managers or supervisors have no idea what they are going through.
Yeah.
And so some of the lies we have believed, for instance, like, when you keep quiet, then you're humble. That's not true. You see?
Yeah.
And so people take this to the workplace.
Yeah.
And or they know, they will say, no, I've struggled for this long time. And I say, supposing you spoke to your boss and you made them know how you feel, because no one will kill you for how you feel. And that's number one. Number two, how you communicate. We do a lot of training for teams on effective communication skills. And all that people know is to yell, is to shout, is tell people, I can't take this anymore, and then they lose the job. But when you communicate a message to your manager and you tell them, you know, like what you said, it made me feel this way, and probably I didn't get you right, but this is it. Then you have good communication skills that are going to help you, number one, release the toxicity or whatever, but then also create a good work environment. Number two, some people are conflict freaks. Now, when you were talking about toxicity, a place really characterized by so much conflict, there are workplaces we support, and there's so much conflict. And it's the culture.
Yes.
You know, it has become a culture of this company that they just conflict. Of course, this has to do with structures, the way, the management style and all this. So if you allow conflict to thrive, you know, you don't have boundaries. People don't know that this is my colleague and this is where, if I'm talking to this person, I have to do it this way. I have to observe a certain level of respect. I have to choose my words. You know, people don't know how to choose words. You think every word just earns you respect. No, it doesn't. And so conflict-stricken workplaces, that's really, really
it's toxic.
Absolutely toxic. And so these have to be dealt with. But most importantly, I guess my message is the workplace is composed of you and me and another person. So don't go to the workplace to get. Go to the workplace to put energy. You know, I always use an example of water treatment tablets. And just imagine you have a tank, 10,000 liter tank, and they just give you a few tablets to treat the water. Just imagine the number of germs that are in this water tank. But then when we are treating, we don't use 10,000 tablets to treat. You use just a few tablets to treat. And so what does this mean? It means you who has power, positive power, you can actually influence this and be able to turn a toxic workplace into a good place. And so we should not encourage people to believe, oh, this is a toxic workplace, I leave. Most likely you
are the toxic.
The toxin.
You are the toxin.
And it's not unusual for people to move from one place and they say, toxic place. These are toxic people. But then how do we step back? And what David mentioned, are you aware of you? You know, are you sure you understand yourself? Because in any relationship, there is you, there are others, and there is skill. Three things. Do you understand yourself? Do you take time to understand other people, or you approach them in a judgmental way? What's wrong with this one? What's wrong with managers? For instance, but David, you're in senior leadership. You know that, and this is what I always tell work teams, don't put too much expectation on the manager. How about you? This manager also has a life to live. You see, he
you
also
must come and talk to my people.
You understand? You understand?
Oh, wow.
Because this manager is a human being too. They have their personal lives, they have their struggles there. But then you say, this manager didn't. This manager didn't. how about them?
How about you?
Yeah, so we have to know that we, the workplace, is us. And probably my final point on that is for people to understand probably where we should have started, that mental health is health. It's not illness.
Yeah.
It is health.
Yes.
And it is your ability to manage and prevent stress. That's number one. But number two, that this health we are expecting is drawn from healthy relationships. Nothing else. Right? And on that point, let me mention something. One is I do a training called Magic Leadership for managers, and it's a psychological tool that helps managers to know what motivates people beyond earning.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What keeps this person energized? What boosts people's what we call psychic energy? I'm sure you know that our psychic energy is 90% of our energy, right? So what boosts this person's psychic energy to work? And so every time I ask managers, why do you think your team comes to work? Why do you think people come to work? They say, oh, we pay them well.
Income. Yeah.
Income.
Yeah.
But that's not what gets people to connect with their work and boosts their energy. That's just a little part.
Not for long anyway.
What boosts people's energy is how they relate and how they feel.
Yeah.
So how does your team feel? Do they feel respected? Do they feel you listen to them? What you are talking? Someone calls in and says, sorry, David, my child is unwell. I'm not able to come in. And then the day they come in, you start from, where is the report? You're not checking on what kept them. And so that's a psychology of connecting with people. And then they connect with the workplace and say, this workplace cares about me.
Yeah.
So when you say, how is Joshua? How is your son? How is your daughter? Are they well? That takes like microseconds.
Not too long.
And do you know how much energy you boost in this person? They feel, oh, this person cares about me.
Yeah.
Right? There is power in that. And so there is a lot of psychology we need to apply in helping people to love the job and have the energy to work. But there's a temptation to think, oh, no, I need that report, I don't care. What connects us is
The work.
So someone feels you're looking at them as a resource, not as a human being.
Yeah, and so it's a combination of both.
Yep.
So our economy, we all know, doesn't support just, waking up and leaving a job. Because you have to think about, and I think you mentioned that, David, you have to think about bills, you have to think about your family, and so you hear a lot of people complaining, my work environment is toxic, and the only solution seems to be leave, I don't think that's the only solution all the time. And so I wanted to talk real quick about whether there are short or long-term solutions to either adapting in an environment like that, or what my contribution can be, because you've said I have a contribution to put in as an employee. My manager has a contribution as well. What can I do to adapt to my environment or even make it better for me to enjoy my job?
Yeah. I think a couple of things. You talked about an important point. A lot of us come to get.
Yes.
I've come here.
They'll
see me on TV. I'll get likes. I'll be loved.
Yeah.
I've come to get. I've not come
To give.
to give.
Yeah.
And I can't just give.
Yeah.
So when your child is small and they give you a nice written card and it's cute. But when they are 20 and they do the same card, you're like,
Really? Is this it?
is this the best you can do?
Yeah.
So we have gifts.
Yeah.
And I think someone said workplaces or organizations are places of social integration. And when you go to sort of say, what's my career going to look like? Do I know my gifts? And am I using these platforms, opportunities to grow my gifts?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because if I am going there to grow my gifts, the money is secondary. And then I am able to learn, I'm able to network, I'm able to be more authentic, because then I need to build relationships. And then I also get the courage to conflict or to take the tough times. And we've been sold the myth of happiness. I tell people happiness is not the goal. And they think sometimes I think I've drunk something. But happiness is not the goal.
Yeah.
If I want to be happy, I can get drugs and immediately I'll have a high.
Yeah.
But the ability to sustain meaning, to build relationships, is where that comes from. And that allows you to conflict meaningfully, to suffer a little.
Yeah.
Right? I think we underestimate the power of suffering.
That's the thing.
We underestimate the power of, you know, what that is. Because if I'm having a real conflict and, you know, maybe Evas is my boss and she's pushing me, and I'm like, why is she pushing me? I think she hates me. I miss the power of what she's giving me. She's trying to take me to the next level.
Yeah.
There's new knowledge I could acquire,
Yeah.
right? And she could inspire me to see something that I really, really care about. Because many of us are afraid to go to that dark place where you're alone in your bed.
Yes.
And the workplace, if you sort of use it that way, then you can start to think about, should I stay, should I leave? Based on me
Yeah.
and what am I going to next? What am I looking for?
Yeah.
What will best grow my gifts? What networks do I need? What new knowledge
Do I need?
do I need? What new field should I be in? Because then you're working from a positive, progressive versus let me show her.
Yes. Let me
Right?
get
Let me
back.
show her.
Yeah.
She doesn't even care. She
Yeah,
doesn't
she
even know
doesn't,
that that's what your intent is.
Yeah.
Right? And even if it was, then what? Right? Because I'm the only one who stays with me. So is it important to know when I'm struggling? I think feeling is important. Recognizing what I'm feeling on a mental health day is important. Many of us don't recognize what we feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm angry, frustrated, feeling guilty, or ashamed. I just say Rachel is, she's toxic. Right?
Yeah.
But what am I really feeling?
Yeah.
Am I embarrassed that she called me out on my...
On my on
Yes,
my
right?
mistake.
So is it embarrassment? Is it anger? Is it guilt? So we don't know how to define the feeling that I'm really feeling.
That's the thing.
So I hide under toxic. God,
Right.
toxic people.
Yeah.
And I've not examined, because if I examine how I'm feeling, say, I'm really embarrassed. Why am I embarrassed? You know, she called me out in public.
Yeah.
My friends were there. Was it that important? Can I make it up for it? Does it really matter? Will I remember it in a year?
Yeah.
So I get the right context around the feeling. Because then I can take the bus and say, Rachel, I see what you said. I'm feeling slightly embarrassed.
Yeah.
But I can see, you. I also walk in your shoes. I can exercise empathy to say, you're probably frustrated that you didn't get that in, and this is how. You know.
Yeah.
So to the point that the people we're bringing in, are they becoming resilient? Is important. Then they don't have to leave us annoyed. I don't think we all have to be in the same organization forever.
Yeah.
We can choose. But also, depending on how we're leaving this place, with the networks we've built, is what then allows us to, in the spirit of the gift, to go and exercise my gift on a bigger platform, or maybe give it to people who need it more.
That's right.
Right? So sometimes you leave, for example, an organization and go work with a small community because that community really needs your gift. And whereas the economic situation is what chases us, because that economic thing is a very, I think, and please forgive me if I sound like I'm, privileged and entitled.
Yeah.
That economic thing many times causes us to leave our values, sort of desert our values,
them.
discard what we care about,
Yeah.
discard people's pain,
Yeah.
things we could do about, say, but you see the economy.
Yeah.
So just sort of saying, it's an important facet of life, but what do I really care about?
Yeah.
What do I really see in the world? So how do I live consciously and make choices that allow for that? Because then I can say, look, if I suffer for 6 months, starting something new, what is possible?
That's true.
Because to the point I said, if I keep quiet, I'm humble, I keep this job where I earn 2 million, my kids become 3 in 2 years, I still have a 2 million job. I'm not taking any personal risk. I'm not taking any risks. I'm not learning.
You're not growing.
Yeah, I'm not growing. So I can't hide. It's like that talent, the person with the one talent. I knew you're someone who, reaps where they have not sown. I must take this talent and invest it. And I must invest it here by taking some of those risks, trying different things. Then saying, look, if it's not working, I am aware of myself enough to know what I'm feeling. I'm conscious to know what I'm doing well, what I'm not doing well. So people avoid performance conversations.
That's true.
People avoid feedback.
And yet it's what will help you.
Yes, so I tell people that, I've been in meetings where people have said, this is the feedback. And I'm like, David, how could you stand? I say, I need to listen to what
is coming
what's the real thing. Because if that feedback, I miss it, tomorrow I'm not better than I was yesterday.
That's the thing.
But if I am taking all that in, at the end of the day, I'm building me.
Correct.
Right? So because of that, then you can make the decision without making the economy first. Because when you make the economy first, I will sacrifice everything at the altar of economy. I lose me. I will do unethical things. I will, and there are so many temptations in this world for you to sell out. Right?
That's right.
So, and that's why I want to rephrase that question. We know the economy. Once you mention economy, now everything goes. So we have opened the door because of economy. I don't have to take responsibility. I don't have to care about others. I don't have to take feedback. I just have to hide in my shell until economy goes away.
And
but I can't, like you said, the economy, who is the economy?
It's us.
That is so true.
That's so true. And also what David is mentioning, we also have to know that we will never have enough of the economy.
That's true.
So don't go that route as your number one. It's important. We are not saying it's not, but you have to consider other things. And speaking of which, I just want to add something that how do we view the workplace? Do we see it as a place to give us happiness and comfort only? And I've already talked about the contribution you make to that. But now I just want us to look at it from the standpoint of growth and personal development. And to say that growth, discipline, development are never comfortable.
True.
They're never comfortable. So if you expect comfort, you'll never be resilient. We never develop in our comfort zones.
No.
We become better when we stretch. Whatever stretches you grows you.
For sure.
Right? And so if we are not, if a person approaches the workplace as, oh, this I have to have fun, oh, I have to, come on, you won't. There is fun.
I know.
There's a place for fun, but there's a place for growth. And you can't grow without feedback. I always tell people, I'm a relationship coach, and I tell people, any relationship that has no place for uncomfortable conversation is not a healthy relationship. Most likely, you're walking on eggshells or you're in denial. Right? So, comfort, yes, there's a place for it, but be ready for feedback. If you're going to grow, someone needs to call you out. There's a place for that. And so, we can't, again, I'm building it on what David mentioned. Yes, there is economy, but is that all you're getting from the workplace? That's number two. Helping people, and this is the message I always give to my clients, and I tell them, if you look, there are people who say, I can't even include that workplace on my CV.
Oh, I've had that before.
Have you had that? Yes. But you see, that's a negative perspective. Supposing you looked at what you learned from there. And I've always told my clients, look back, let's go. If we roll back, you'll actually find that everywhere you've passed, you've picked lessons.
Picked something, for sure.
And God doesn't make mistakes. Even that nasty experience was part of your journey. And what did you learn? So do you view life from the standpoint of losses or lessons? And so if you do that, then you have to know that, yes, sometimes we've done jobs where we earn less, but you love it. You're looking at what you're learning, and you know that what you're learning actually will take you
Even further.
even further.
Yeah.
So these workplaces sometimes are training grounds for us.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm doing currently, I do therapy, but I did programming for the longest part.
Yeah.
I supported vulnerable children and families and all that. But when I look back, all that, what I am now is a sum total of all those experiences. Now I know how to write proposals and submit it to Stanbic Bank and where I know. So I know I have skills for, so I can't go back and say, oh my God, I wasted my time there. I was meant to be a therapist.
They were toxic.
They were toxic.
Yeah, sorry, I
That person was
joke.
toxic. That person, come on.
Yeah.
Those toxic experiences are part of your journey. They teach you resilience. They teach you integrity. People are calling you out on respect. They say, no, you can't speak
talk
like that. And you say, no. No, these things, that's how we learn character. That's how character is shaped. So all these experiences need to be viewed from the standpoint of benefits and lessons, which are important for our maturity. Otherwise, you won't mature.
Yeah.
And this whole quitting. And if anyone, again, speaking as a psychologist and a life coach, we have to know that quitting seems like the quickest pain relief,
Yeah.
but in the long term, you miss opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
And so any young person, any older person who has nurtured their mindset to quit, if I experience difficulty, I'm going to quit. It's not just going to be quitting in the workplace. It becomes your lifestyle
Yeah.
because you are a quitter.
Yeah.
Your response to pain is to
Quit.
quit.
Yeah.
I think maybe before we leave quitting, and there's been people saying what some of us older people don't know when to quit. The young people are quitting too soon.
Yeah.
So I think there's a skill building there and an awareness around when is it the right time to quit.
To quit,
Yeah.
that's right.
Right, because some of us don't want to quit. You throw good money after bad money. Say, but I've already spent 5 years
Yeah, I
here,
know.
so I'm still throwing in.
Yeah.
Then some people, as soon as they face a bit of resistance,
Yeah.
call it toxic and run.
That's right.
So I think the point you make around growing you to understand that, look, here are my 3 questions of should I quit or shouldn't I? Here is my support system of people I can talk to that will be truth tellers in my life.
Yeah.
Because quitting, sometimes you stay too long,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
right? That's what we started with,
Yeah.
that I've stayed here too long.
Yeah.
Then other times I quit too soon.
Yeah.
So, and maybe it's something that you could think about.
Right.
When do I quit? Right? Am I in my area of power?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm just trying to prove a point, but I know it's not my gift. It's not going to bless me,
Yeah.
but I have hardened on
I've
it.
That's the thing. And, to be honest with you, David, just reminds me of what we do with people. Quitting is not the problem. It's the reason for quitting.
Yeah.
Why are you quitting? So when someone says, I'm leaving this job, and we say, I ask why, and you say, I've stayed too long. That can't be a
That's
reason.
not a reason. That's also not a reason, by the way.
It's not?
to quit. No.
Okay. Because people say, like, I've been 10 years.
Yes, I've
That's a
heard
long
that.
time,
But
yeah.
that's not a good reason for you to quit.
Okay.
Probably that's the place of service for you. And there's nothing wrong with anyone working 20 years in a place.
Yeah.
Right? If this connects with your purpose and you feel you're making a contribution, so there is that whole pressure.
Yeah.
Of how I mean, people are embarrassed to have worked in a place for a long time. There's nothing wrong with
be
that.
embarrassed about.
So just check, why are you
quitting?
there and why are you quitting?
Yeah.
So when you say I'm quitting, well, then we take to analyzing why you're quitting.
Yes.
And we find that most of the time it's distortions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's no good reason for you to quit. And then we say, don't get embarrassed. Because peer pressure, if someone moves every 2 years, That's their style, but also find out why are
Why
they
are
leaving
moving
every 2 years, right? And so that's it. And then young people also are embarrassed to to stay.
To stay long. there's a need to build some muscle there and strike
Yes,
a balance.
there is,
Yeah.
and there are conversations that have to happen there, and people have to be supported, and they have to know why,
Yeah.
and you have to make peace with that.
Yeah.
If you're quitting because you're not earning enough money, don't feel embarrassed. You see, don't feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's okay. Now, that's what you mentioned as a necessary skill. We need to learn risk management. Yeah, we have to know that risk is okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to take risk.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we are in a comfort zone for a long time and we think we don't know what is happening in the other world. And of course, self-discovery. People don't know what else they are good at,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You're doing a job you hate so much, but you're like, that's what is available in this economy.
I need to stick it out.
But you find that we are super gifted.
Yeah.
You know, I did programming for a long time. Now I'm doing therapy. I love it. You see, I'm sure when I retire, I can do preaching. I love it. You see, and so what else can you do? And also not to look at work as purely from an earning.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see, there's so much to life than just,
just
money.
the paycheck.
Money is important. A paycheck is important. But what else am I doing? You know, I do therapy, and every time I speak into somebody's life, they feel better. I get so much energy. I feel good. Now that is important for my wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, so there's lots of conversations that have to happen.
Yeah. All right, as we wrap this up, I don't want us to leave the audience without some tools, because earlier we talked about, mental health triggers in the workplace. We talked about change, transition, culture, people. What can I do to build muscle first as an employee to survive in the workplace? You know, adapt to structure, adapt to deadlines, and commitments, and with all these things that are evolving, even as I evolve. And then also, what can employers or managers do to create an environment that is enabling for good mental health?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So in spirit of wrapping up, so I think what we sort of tried, what I think works, is as an individual, first and foremost, you must have. They say there are two most important times in your life: the day you're born, and the day you discover why. Right. Many say when you die. No, when you die, you've died.
You
right?
Game over.
Yeah. But the day you're born and the day you discovered why am I here,
Yeah.
God blesses you in your gifts.
Yeah.
Right. So you going out understanding, I'm trying to understand why am I here? Why, what do I care about? What are my gifts? Who am I? That question has to be answered.
Yeah.
Right. So the first thing is that that's a process. You can read, you can have friends, you can have networks, and once you discover that, then everything else starts to say, what tools do I need? I need to set some goals. So how will I make sure I am actualizing this life in a meaningful way over the next year?
Yep.
So what are some goals that I could work towards to become that person?
Good.
Right, so if I become that person, then what? So I want to be, for example, people say, David, you've been head of people and culture for 3 years. Is there anything else for you? Surely you've reached the summit. And it's a big problem. And they say, when you're up there, you're seeing there's pressure. Say, what could I do to become a better individual in the next 1 year? What skill could I improve? Like say, programming, leading big organizations, leading change, getting managers to invest in things that are contrary to common logic.
Yeah.
Those are areas I could work on, communicating impactfully, speaking, telling my own truth.
Yep.
So just your self-awareness and saying that's a journey that I'm working on as an individual, because then I start to, first of all, understand myself, self-awareness.
Yeah.
So what am I feeling? We talked about what emotion is this?
Identifying it.
Identifying it,
And labeling
recognizing
it, right.
it,
Yeah.
and then working through it.
Yeah.
Right. So hence, getting help. Psychologists have become very important.
Yeah.
Coaches have become very important. So high performers, if you watch tennis, Djokovic's coach is there watching as he plays. You who is watching you, you know, if Djokovic can get coach, he earns $5-10 million for every, let's say, tournament. You with your 10 million shillings for whatever period, who's watching you to make sure that you win more tournaments? Right?
Oh, that's powerful.
Yes, who's watching you? And if you think you've arrived, again, that's why I say he's making $10 million in 3 weeks.
So by any standards, he has arrived.
Yes.
Yeah.
So please be humble. Get help. Get help. So read, listen. Sometimes you can't afford it. But I mean, this little reality check, this is free information. Use it. And continue to do that. Secondly, legacy, or thirdly, legacy is built every day. I don't build my legacy when I arrive. My legacy is built today. So keep thinking about what do I want to be remembered for? Because then my values become important. I become a person of integrity. And integrity means what I say, what I do match. Right? So there's no shame and guilt. And that's a continuous process because there are many things that test what I say and do. There are many things. So how do I work through that? And I think, you know, if you think that way and that, then I think as an individual, you're constantly working and recognizing that you're on a hill. And I'll have points of struggle, I'll forgive myself. And this shame and guilt are overrated.
They are.
Totally overrated. So forgive yourself, move on. From an organization side, I think some of the things we've tried to do is, first and foremost, declare it. Say it out. There's power in speaking the word. We are an environment that wants to do this. Let people know from the get-go. From being a purposeful organization, caring about customers, caring about the environment. So be like the people you're asking. Be open about what you're trying to do. And then build the system structures, get the right people in, and make tough calls on people that are going against your culture. One of the things that we see, especially right now, for example, what causes unsafety in our workplaces, when we've done the surveys, temporary staff, people who have a one-year contract, or managers and other staff threaten them that your contract is ending next month. And this is how you're behaving. So then I cower into corners. I allow other things. So how do we enable them to speak up? To say that this thing here is unsafe for me. It may be the organization's fault. It may be that then as you speak up, I can speak into your life. I can help you deal with it. Other times I may need to take away that manager. And a lot of us organizations don't have courage to take away some of these managers because some of them are really high performing. They are your best. Like, I'm getting the results. I see a few dead bodies, but
that's true.
Maybe we can bury them. And that, so because people watch, but I think that constant conflict between what you say and what you do and continuing to address it has to be the organization's continuous work. Then let people tell you. Create avenues for feedback and communicating back. And don't be ashamed to fail. I think for me that's the issue. I think we are all sinners on the journey to salvation. So we must work towards, but because we hide things, we say, you know what, it's so pristine. Look at us. We have no issues.
We have no issues.
No, we have no issues. But we all have issues. We are working towards it. So managers, build the policies. Test that the policies are working. Right? You know, we say we have 28 days of leave. Go and check. Rachel, have you been able to go on leave? When I go on leave, they call me. I can't go on leave. The targets are there. Test those policies and see if there is reality. I am overwhelmed. The work is too much. Don't say you're lazy. Check. Do some work and say, you know, because those are things that create, I'm not feeling appreciated. Check. When's the last time someone recognized anyone? Even just thank you. So when you build the policies, test them. Test them. Be your own number one critic. Because then it will give you the data. As we said, feedback is the food of. I think I'll leave it there in the interest of time.
Wonderful.
David has touched on most of the things. Let me add my advice, I think, is to the managers. Encouraging the managers to be vulnerable. My experience, whenever I do, at our center, when we do analysis of service utilization, we are having most of them drivers, support staff, and the managers keep back thinking, me, I'm okay.
Yes.
You know, that service is for those who are struggling.
Who have not yet made it.
Who are not yet. True.
But they struggle. And much of the struggle is actually, it manifests in sometimes how we treat people. So you find you're projecting anger, because you're also human. Managers are human too, as I mentioned earlier. And so they need to take care of their own stress triggers. And so not assume that because we are up, then we are taken care of. No, we have our personal lives, we have our struggles with our children, we have struggles with, plus you're managing people. And so there are so many trigger points that you're dealing with, and I really, really encourage managers, don't take comfort in me, I'm okay. Because if a manager is not okay, they're going to project all those negative feelings on their teams. So that's number one. Number two, probably to just add, I think David mentioned it, encouraging people to know how they feel. To know how because when you don't know how you feel, you're going to act a certain way, and some people say, I don't know why I did this. You know, you're getting eruptive in your communication, you're yelling at people, and then you don't know.
You don't know why.
And so you don't know. And then, of course, also knowing, identifying your stress triggers. That's why this service, the service we do, is so important. And so we say, I mean, it's not unusual for instance, someone coming in and they say, I'm just acting a certain way. And I say, do you know why? They say, I don't know. And then when you check, what is this? How about your relationship? Yeah, but it was a small thing. And they don't know that that has built into how they are acting, how they are behaving. So to encourage people, please utilize therapy. Therapy, you don't wait until you have run down and then we are. That's why people think mental health is mental illness, and they think the service is needed for the mentally ill. No, when you have malaria, you don't wait until you're convulsing. No, you go treat it, and they check and say, now you have scanty. And then they say 1+ or 2+ or 3. You don't wait and say, I'll go to hospital when I'm convulsing. So it's the same thing. Don't wait to utilize therapy when it's extreme, when you're depressed, when you are getting dysfunctional, when you're manifesting all these negative symptoms in the workplace. And then the third one, Rachel, is again emphasizing what I said earlier. For us to know that the environment at the workplace is a sum total of all our behaviors. So before you blame the workplace, ask yourself, what kind of material am I in this workplace? What kind of contribution am I? What energy am I bringing? What behaviors am I bringing? Because in life generally, I'm a marriage therapist, and it's very interesting. That area is another conversation. But every time we are blaming the other party, I think I married the wrong person. I think my wife, my husband, but every time I'm having this conversation, I say, let's check with you. What do you think you're doing? Do you understand your behaviors and how they are contributing to? What do you think is your contribution towards this conflict? So it's the same thing with the workplace. Before you blame the workplace, what kind of person are you? Because in life, what we plant is what we harvest. So you can't take chaos, conflict, gossip, all this, and then you expect a good workplace. No, probably you're sowing bad seeds, you as an individual. So the workplace is a sum total of all our behaviors, and we need to be mindful whether we are a water treatment tablet or we are part of the germs.
The toxins.
The toxins, you see. So it's very important.
Wow.
I want to touch just on that point of leadership, and maybe to my fellow organizations and people running HR organizations. the point around mental health.
Yep.
And, you know, health, like you give an example of malaria. My actual health journey on malaria is putting up a net.
Yeah.
By the time I get sick, I've not taken care of my health.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the cost of treatment
Yeah.
is so bad.
Higher.
And in organizations, we live on decisions.
Yeah.
The quality of our decisions
Yeah.
over time
Yeah.
Yeah.
is the truth. So that's our
Yeah.
serve or our ace if you're a tennis person, or
Yeah.
that's our killer shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The decisions we make as leaders, if you think about your organization as the HR person, supporting the MD or your directors or whoever, what state are they in their mind
Yep.
as they're making these decisions?
Yeah.
If they are afraid, if they are anxious, if they are negative, you'll see your sales things going down.
That's true.
That's where it starts.
That's true.
Yet we come and start fighting budgets without understanding that are they positive, are they progressive?
Yeah.
And hence getting support systems for your organization, coaches, therapists, let them be part of what you do to help people. And I think that's it. So I didn't want to let that point on leadership get lost,
Yeah.
because getting investment for it, I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that building that business case is something that we need to do
Yeah.
much more.
Very, 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 very good. Oh, wow. Thank you, David. Thank you, Dr. Evas, for lending us your insights. Like David mentioned, this is free information. You don't pay YouTube. You know, you may not be able to afford a therapist, but you can start here. You know, and when you take this information, use it and apply it, and don't say, that's for people who are, you know, at a certain level, which I have not yet attained. It's for you, and you're able to start now. One of the things that I am really appreciating about life is you can start wherever you are. Yeah, like it's never too late for you
To do the
start.
right thing.
To do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it from us. Let us know in our comment section what you think about our conversation today. What has your workplace environment been like, and what tools are you employing to either adapt or, you know, be a better employee or be a better manager? Until next time, we will be back with another exciting topic. Do join us, and don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with someone who you think might find it useful. Bye.